Well, of course, the teams that won last year and did well have high expectations, but end of the day, it is sevens rugby. Anything can happen. It's a game of inches. The slightest mistakes, you lose, and other teams can make well on that. So you'll never know. Once again, if you're in town, head on down to Jurong West. Some awesome rugby to come. But if you're tuning in, thank you so much. Stay true the whole afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Lots of exciting rugby, and we'll see what happens.
So this entire week now is a week dedicated to rugby in Singapore, isn't it? We're
That's right.
talking about clinics. We're talking about the big sevens that happens on the 3 days. We're talking about the C7s, or it's an entire celebration of rugby that runs for 7 days.
That's right,
practically.
Glenn. It's what we call here the Festival of Rugby. So yesterday at the beach, at Siloso Beach in Sentosa, we had the BAC Furious Fives. I was playing there myself. It was a great day out in the sand, five-a-side contact rugby on the beach. There was also in parallel the Titans Rugby Club Ruck and Rumble, where there was kids age groups all the way to under 16, I believe. Awesome to see the winners of those competitions are going to be playing in front of everyone at the National Stadium itself. So fantastic week for everyone involved, whether you're a player, parent, or athlete. Big week of rugby here in Singapore.
What's it like playing in the sand? It must be, I mean, you do get your heels dug in a little bit more, isn't it, in terms of movement and action?
Well, it was hot, as you mentioned earlier. The weather was blistering. I unfortunately did not bring any socks, but yeah, it was good fun.
So as the teams get ready to come up, let's also remind you once again that this, of course, is always a pre-event to, well, the Singapore Sevens, which kicks off at the National Stadium tomorrow itself. And the winners of today, that's the top two teams from women's and the men's. The top two women winners will, of course, be able to play. So here we have it, Chinese Taipei versus Singapore A. This is going to be from a Group A. And we do have our team list coming up here. So let's very quickly run you through that. For Chinese Taipei, we've got Sipin Yi, Yao Si Yao, Chao Yu Ye, Ming Quan Shen, Lin Jung Yi, Lu Sin Kui, Yu Lian Yu, Huang Lian Ze, Huang Jianjing, Liu Yuxian, Huang Yi Kai, Wang Jiaxian, and Sun Cheng Yang. You want to run through our Singapore lads?
Yep. Rolling up for Singapore, we've got Jonathan Wong, Tantam, we've got Gideon, we've got Izida, we've got Kenji, Hidayat, Captain Chong Yao, Connor, Ray, and Miguel. All three of these boys have come back from Sydney Uni to play this tournament as well. We've got Sean Andreas and Shauna. This team is coached by Suhaimi Amran.
Well, the head coach, of course, for Chinese Taipei is Sun Cheng Yan. So it's going to be an interesting one looking at these lads. But I have to ask you very quickly, Harish. So you just mentioned three of the lads come back. So that's Connor, Ray, and Miguel. And these lads study in Sydney.
That's right. They're in Sydney U. I've been following them on. I know some of them myself. Been catching them playing some club rugby or uni rugby, and good to see them bringing their rugby game to the next level and play against bigger, stronger, faster opponents. So looking forward to see what these boys can do at a park out in the park in Jurong today.
Well, as you can see, just getting ready to look at the lads lining up to come on, we do see Miguel in there. And it will be interesting to see. I did get a chance to, watch the Chinese Taipei team last year, and I do know that I don't know much about this year's team, but last year's team did have a lot of players who were playing for universities abroad, and they were fairly buffed, a little bit bigger, I would say, and extremely fast. So I think today's game, you've seen both these teams in action. How do you think it's poised to be? Kind of a balanced affair, or?
I definitely think it's a balanced affair, but I think it's whoever team makes those decisive moves first and catching the opponents off guard, they're definitely going to benefit. Chinese Taipei definitely has a few speed demons out there as well, but hey, so do we out in the Singaporean red.
So as we get ready to come on to, well, the green for our first event post that late morning break. Let's very quickly remind you once again that this is the C7s. We're going to be here right till the end of the day. And here we have it as our lads take to the field. It's also going to be interesting to, well, just give you an introduction to our main official. And the Singapore team, of course. It is the Singapore team that's going to, well, kick off the action.
We've got Yat looking to kick off the ball and Singapore looking to retrieve it. Captain Chong Yao, or Charlie as he's better known just by his right.
So that's Hidayat Jeffrey then.
Definitely one of the players to watch this tournament, has a mean step on him. And off we go.
So into the action right here at the Jurong West Stadium. We start off fairly early. Chinese Taipei will just while stealing possession early up.
Chinese Taipei definitely using the whole width of the park.
Well, one of the interesting bits to keep in mind, of course, is there will be misdemeanors, and every time there is one, there will be, of course, the ball awarded before the time being. I don't think that's too much of an issue, just an early start. Keep in mind the fact that we're looking at 7 minutes, you know, a half. There'll be a bit of a break in between. And, well, fairly interesting, because when injuries do occur, they can be pretty detrimental depending on the angle at which you're taken down, isn't it,
Good to
Harish?
see Chinese Taipei led got up injury-free, but penalty kick not finding touch. Singapore on the counter. Jonathan Wong up there with the root one. Hitty out there spreading the ball wide. Singapore's first real chance of attack, looking quite promising, Glenn.
Well, certainly seems like it could have been a breakaway just before, well, he was taken down. And that's Kenji. Slippery hands for a change.
Unfortunate, but I'm sure he'll want to pick himself up after that one. Some good rugby so far. The ball has been spreading across the park. It's not been very straight up rugby, but hey, it's sevens, right?
Well, I do like the fact that you picked on the Chinese Taipei team have been using the width, of the entire field.
Scrum to Chinese Taipei. Scrum off goes on the blind. He's found himself slightly isolated in a turnover penalty. Singapore on the counter attack. Advantage to Chinese Taipei, knock on Singapore. Not held, that's why he could play on.
Well, here's Lin Junyi, and it looks like he just might be the first one to take that home, and yes, he has.
That's what I meant by it's a game of inches, right? One mistake and, you get punished for that.
Well, absolutely no challenge there on him, Harish, right towards the end. Made it look like a walk in the park towards, those last few steps. But Chinese Taipei do have, well, 5 points in the bag after that try, and they do have a chance to, well, extend those points as well.
Hey, we still got a full second half and about 3.5 minutes to go in this half, so lots of rugby left in this game between Chinese Taipei and Singapore. Conversion successful.
And that's Lo Sin Kui.
Great kick out there.
Just taking it off to 7. So Chinese Taipei lead 7 points to 0 over the Singapore A team. You know, Harish, you always want to be a part of a team with a title like that. Sounds like the good old days on television.
That's
The
right.
A-team.
The A-team. I love it when a plan comes together. I believe that's the line, right?
Yeah, totally.
Singapore in their own 22, looking to get out.
Singapore do have to dig deep for this one. Remember, as we said, there is still time, but time can get away from you. And in a game of sevens,
Jonathan Wong
well, anything can happen.
with the break. Little fumble there, but Singapore still in possession.
Well, Singapore will salvage a bit. It's Sean.
Sean Andreas, I play club rugby with the man. He's honestly one of the fastest lads I've seen, but Singapore penalty, taking quick. And just as I said, yeah, the man with the mean step does his dancing, and 5 points for Singapore.
So Hidayat Jeffrey then has come to the party, and just as you mentioned, Harish, what an absolutely wonderful, well, run from him. Well, almost thought that he was going to be stopped in his tracks, but well, kept that progress clean. Time for a conversion.
He successfully converts his own try, and 7-all here in Jurong West.
So it's even Stevens back again here, even as we will approach that, just get past the 5-minute mark. Keep in mind the fact that, well, it's going to be a big game here, so the Singapore A team, well, just taking a tad bit of time to get settled. Looking a lot stronger now. Here's Wan Jinying.
Once again, just checking on our live feed. We've got folks tuning in from all over. It's great to have you here with us out at on YouTube Live. And once again, if you're in Singapore, come on down. Lots of rugby left to play.
Well,
out at Jurong
absolutely,
West.
and to be fair, the temperatures actually kind of got really nice and pleasant.
Well,
So-
let's not jinx it, Glenn. You know what we call the commentator's curse.
Totally, man.
But Chinese Taipei, another kick that did not make it out to touch. Yat out there with his dancing feet again.
Well, I do remember seeing Hidayat Jeffrey then last year, and he was, well, quite the runner.
Sean Andreas taking it up. Unfortunately loses it in contact there, but the runs the Singapore boys are doing are looking pretty threatening. But hey, Chinese Taipei are looking pretty dangerous on the attack as well.
Well, I think the interesting thing is, well, Chinese Taipei seem to have a very well-organized unit. Singapore, of course, can't deny them that as well.
I think the referee's called the halftime break, and yeah, it's 2 minutes for both teams to regather, reconcile, and talk tactics. Then
So
we see
Sam-
the head coach Swami Amran gathering his team.
So it's time for you to get a breather if you want, get a bit of refreshment. We're going to be continuing with this right through. Remember, it's back-to-back games, and after we finish off with Chinese Taipei and Singapore, we're going to kick straight into the Philippines and Laos men's game, and that's going to be an interesting battle as well. But for now, well, very quickly so far, evenly poised, as you said, Harish, and I think a real decider on that next 7.
Well, it's all going to be down to fitness and the use of, you know, substitutions and using their squad, right? Do you bring on the big boys to truck it up? Do you bring on a few more speedy folks? But yeah, fitness is all going to be a big part in the next half. Once again, if you just tuned in, second half of Singapore versus Chinese Taipei. Chinese Taipei in blue and Singapore in red.
Next 7, well, the usual suspects are coming to the party here. That was Lo Sin Kui of Chinese Taipei and Hidayat Jeffrey then of Singapore A. So big one for us here today. Now let's not forget, this was exactly what the late morning start was going to be for us. We did not want a one-sided affair, and we haven't got one. So that's a good thing.
It's one for the fans for sure. Chinese Taipei kicking off. Ball went straight out. The kickoff. Singapore to restart the ball at the halfway line.
Let's very quickly have a quick word about Coach Suhaimi Amran. This man has been dedicated to the cause for the longest time ever, hasn't he been, Harish?
Yes, an ex-national player in both 7s and 15s himself. He's taken on the coaching gig for a couple of years now, and honestly developed and identified and recruited lots of awesome boys across the years, and I think the journey's only just started for him. And Sean Andreas.
Well, just as we're talking about the journey and Team Singapore, well, doing the coach proud there.
There we go.
Absolutely wonderful. Well, a solo run there from
Sean Andreas, the gas man, who plays his club rugby at the Singapore Cricket Club, wearing the number 11 shirt as well. Great leg drive there by Sean. And Yat here looking to convert his teammates' try. Same spot from where Chinese Taipei scored their first try.
It's going to be a lucky spot. You've got to mark that down, Harish.
Yeah. I've got training here later tonight myself.
Oh, I was just going to talk about that. It's going to be a full day for you as well. And, well, Hidayat Jeffrey then, well, going through the motions there. So it's, well, to be fair, it's still Team Singapore who are ahead by 5 points. So it's 12, while Chinese Taipei are at 7. I was just talking about the training. So you've got a rugby commentary through this day, and then in the evening you've got training. How long is normally the training session like?
It's about an hour and a half, 2 hours. But yeah, the 15s team have a couple of test matches coming up. We've got Malaysia in a couple of weeks. We're playing Chinese Taipei as well in June, and in July, Thailand.
So you've got a packed calendar. How much weight do you drop after each training session?
I've not weighed myself, but
you definitely sweat bucket loads, don't you?
But not enough, not as much as these boys out on the park playing 7s rugby.
Well, 7s, as we always know, just that quicker format. And, you know.
Unfortunately, just stepped out to touch. He tried to keep the ball going, keep the ball in play. But Singapore having the defensive pressure put on them. Chinese Taipei have made it up to the 10-meter line, rather the halfway line. Line out to Singapore. Let's see what they do from here.
Well, I think Chinese Taipei will definitely want to get back, on level footing.
Unfortunate one-sided throw there by Singapore. They're going to restart the play with a scrum to Chinese Taipei. Good attacking platform, just outside their own half. I think they go for it. Glenn, what do you think?
Well, I think so too. I think Chinese Taipei have got that initiative here, and more importantly, they've got the advantage just for the time being. I think they'd like to exploit that. Maybe, get those scores even. Maybe convert, get ahead. Second chances don't always come by.
Yeah, they have to. They've tested 4 minutes to make an impact. And Sean Andreas there tracking his Chinese Taipei counterpart.
So Liu Tian Yu, kept in check by Sean Andreas.
Accidental offside there, I think. Oh, rather it was a knock-on.
But it definitely looked to be so.
This is where fitness really comes into play, Glenn. You can see some of the boys puffing and puffing. And
well,
Singapore looking to make a sub. We've got TAIPEI on the park as well.
Oh, we just spoke about him earlier. He's another one of the lads who plays in Sydney. And these are all young lads.
Yeah, Ray is promising talent. Played his school rugby at Raffles Institution. Did his mandatory 2 years in NS. Plays his club rugby at the SEC. And now studying and playing rugby as well at Sydney U. So
I've seen some terrific players, over the years come out of Raffles and St. Joseph's.
Yeah,
absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I mean it's good to see. Obviously, like I said, we mentioned there's
let's not forget the ACs as well.
Of course, which is my alma mater. But like I said, rugby in Singapore, especially at U level, is growing. Lots of academies, lots of competitions. But a downtown kick there from Singapore.
Oh, absolutely done. Absolutely done well there, and that was TAIPEI. We just spoke about him.
TAIPEI with a blistering pace, doing his Raffles boys proud, Sydney Uni proud, and great vision. Saw the opportunity, kicked it cross field, and Ray pounced on it.
Yeah, we'll just talk of grabbing opportunity by the horns and at the right time. Absolutely marvelous work being done there. Now, time for redemption here for Hidayat Jeffrey then.
Not many left-leggers in the game.
Absolutely no trouble with this.
Yeah.
So it's
Singapore
a
extending
try
their
and
lead.
a conversion, and that lead really now is beginning to build slowly.
Once again, this is a big result if it stays this way. Once again, Chinese Taipei are the defending champions of this C7's competition. Singapore with a great performance so far, 19-7 to Singapore. Unfortunately, the kick goes straight out to touch. It's going to be a free kick at the halfway line for Chinese Taipei.
Now let's not forget we are just about a little over a minute shy of hitting the 14 here, and that's according to the clock. If Chinese Taipei do have to pull their socks up, they'll have to do it right now, and they definitely hurt us with that. But the Singapore team defense fighting tooth and nail here, to keep that Chinese attack at bay.
And it seems the ref has gone for a yellow card against the Singaporean player. So it's a one-man advantage now for Chinese Taipei. So yellow card here in the game of sevens. He's out for 2 minutes. That was Chong Yao, I believe. Chinese Taipei inching closer to the try line. Not much time left, but hey, stranger things have happened.
Well, I do believe it's a do or die here at this point of time, and I don't think Chinese Taipei really trying to do their best.
Singapore conceding a couple of back-to-back penalties, and
that's Lo Sun Kui back again. Well, I think he's been a bit of the knight in shining armor.
great try, and unfortunately does not convert his own try.
So it's just 12 in the bag, but all those 12 coming from Lo Sun Kui. So it's 19-12.
Well, if Chinese Taipei manages to retrieve it off the kickoff and score, we have a game.
Well, they need a try and a conversion to basically level up, isn't it?
That's right. That is the final whistle.
I think that's a really commanding win for Team Singapore. They dominated that entire second period of play.
Exactly. You can see how much it means for the boys in red. Look at those smiles on their faces. Well done.
An absolutely marvelous, final bit from TAIPEI, who, came off the bench. Absolutely wonderful from him. So the final score here, Chinese Taipei, 12, and Singapore 17,
I believe.
17.
But hey, great performance from Chinese. Great performance from Chinese Taipei. It's not over yet. It's still the group stages. Lots of rugby left in this tournament, and we'll see what happens.
So do stay with us. We come up next with Philippines and Laos, and that's all happening right here at the Jurong West Sports Centre. So don't go anywhere as the action continues in the C7's 2024.